Yeah, let's hope that our defense gets better as the new year rolls in before Liberty comes to town. But, I thought it was a hard-fought ball game. Obviously, I hold a lot of respect for Brett Tanner and his basketball team. They played one of the harder schedules in America, and they play really, really hard. I'd like to say that we're both really good defensive teams, but neither one of us were great defensively tonight, just from the number standpoint. But I thought it was a fun game from a fan standpoint probably to watch.
Yeah, as you said, both you guys are generally pretty good defensively. Why not tonight?
Well, you usually play the way you practice, and I can't speak for his team, but we've been back since the 26th of December, and I've been on them a little bit about our defense. Our defense hasn't been nearly what it needs to be since we've returned, and we've got to be better. Now, with that being said, I thought the last 6 to 7 minutes of the game, our defense was pretty good, but there's 33 more minutes of that game that you probably need to give your best defensively.
Along those lines, Jaylen was, apparently he's going to be out for the season. How much of a loss was that?
Yeah.
We maybe overcompensated a little bit, not having him on.
No, there's no overcompensation. We got to be better defensively, just in terms of our effort, in terms of our discipline, in terms of our intensity, in terms of knowing who we're guarding, when we're guarding them, in space, not in space, those sorts of things. Jaylen's a loss. I mean, yeah, he's a good defender, but we've had games where we've won without Jaylen, so we can't make that as an excuse. We've won games without Christian, we've won games without Jaylen, we've won games without whoever, and I've said it many times, and I know you are tired of hearing me say it. We have enough guys on this team when one goes down that somebody else can step up. So we're not going to allow that to be an excuse.
Yeah, of course. What was the injury with him? How did it happen? Did he have any eligibility possibilities?
Yeah, you know what, guys? I wish I had all the answers for you. I can tell you this: he broke his foot. He basically has the same injury that he had prior to the season, except in the other foot. He planted, and he said, "Coach, man, it felt just like the other one." And I said, "Hey, be positive. We'll get an X-ray." Get an X-ray the next day, and the doc said, "Yeah, it's broken." So he's done for the season. Now his dilemma is, does he have surgery? Does it let it naturally heal? He's got to decide what he wants to do. Does he want to come back possibly for another year? We're in the process of checking into a medical red shirt for him. Does he want to turn professional? What does he want to do? And, we're going to allow him and his family to think about it for a couple days, and then I'll visit with them, all of them again, and we'll make a decision and roll with it.
Coach, you've talked about arena crowds. Talk about just how the crowd helped you in this one.
Yeah, I mean, when the crowd needed to be good tonight, they were great. They were great, and I'm really not trying to anger anybody or get on anybody's nerves here, but there's 3,000 or 4,000 seats still available, and I get it. I don't read the internet, I don't read the paper, but I have people tell me, "Well, Coach, you guys are 11-3, but you're really only 8-3 because you played 3 non-D1s." I don't care if we're 8-3 or 15-3. That's a good basketball team. They play hard, they play the right way, and they deserve to have people come and support them. And I just hope that they will. So I don't want anyone to ever think that I'm angry. I am grateful for those people that showed up tonight. Just bring a friend, please. Just bring a friend. Liberty's got a chance to be a heck of an environment, a heck of a game. It's us and Liberty. They're playing Alabama today. Probably right now, I don't know what that score is, but, we're both going to be undefeated. We're probably the top 2 teams in the league thus far, and they're coming to our arena for the home game. We've got to make it hard on them. Now, do we have to do our part? Absolutely. But I sure would like to think that, we've got 8,000 people here in Bowling Green and the surrounding area that got our back and are going to make it hard for Liberty to come in here and win.
Along those lines, how do you evaluate the conference?
I can't evaluate it. I haven't watched the conference thus far. I look at the scores and I look at the standings and I look at the stats, but I don't skip ahead to watch a whole lot of games. My job is to prepare our team for the next opponent and focus on that. So I just tomorrow morning I'll start on Liberty. We're going to enjoy tonight, and then tomorrow morning I'll focus on Liberty.
So this game, a little bit of a change of pace. start in the beginning and then being down all throughout that first half, and then finally like, getting a spark. Kind of led a little bit with Christian later, Tyrone Marshall really getting in with the crowd and everything like that. How is it different with this game, having to kind of crawl your way back to get that win rather than Cal Baptist or Austin Peay, where you had those big leads and then they do cut the deficit down?
Yeah, I mean, it's different in the respect that you're losing, right? But I don't believe in getting too high and too low. Our job is to stay with the process every single possession. And obviously when we talk about the process is, hey, I'm going to guard my man one-on-one. My teammate's going to have my help if I need help. And if we get beat and he comes and help, then another teammate's going to have his back and another teammate's going to have his back. So I can't say that it's any different other than the fact that your sense of urgency absolutely is different when you're down. I don't know exactly what time it was, but we were down 6 or 7 points with 6 minutes to go, somewhere right in there. And we flipped the switch a little bit and got a couple stops and got a couple offensive baskets and a putback and a free throw and those sorts of things. And then we were able to get a little bit of momentum. That's kind of when the crowd got in it and things were able to turn for us.
Who really gave you guys a lift in the second half? I think he had all 20 of his points in the second half. Just really flipped the switch offensively.
Yeah, I mean, Tyrone Marshall, I've said it, several times. I mean, he's a really good player. I like him a lot. He does so many things defensively that you probably don't even notice because he has such great length and athleticism. But tonight, I thought in the second half, he really, took to heart what we talked about at halftime. And we talked at halftime about him getting downhill and getting to the front of the rim and getting free throws and layups and dunks. And then when guys drive it and everybody has collapsed and you're wide open and you can step in and shoot those threes, man, shoot those with confidence. And I thought he played a really good game from that standpoint. But defensively, I thought he really, really did some good things.
Steve, can you tell us about your strategy? Christian holding the ball and then taking that shot, and then defensively with the fouls to give.
Yeah, I mean, obviously there was a 6-second differential between the shot clock and the game clock, which that usually equates into somewhere around 7, 8, 9. We had 2 fouls to give at that point, I believe. No, we had 1 foul to give at that point, and so our thought was to limit their opportunity to get a good look. Very similar to Austin Peay. Luckily Donnie was able to recognize what we talked about in the timeout. He fouled him, and then, now you got to give them an opportunity to score from the sideline. And I thought we did a good job. We were in front of him. We contested the shot, and then we were in good rebounding position as well. So sometimes games come down to that, right? And we did it against Austin Peay. We did it tonight in terms of executing the game plan and being smart about what we were doing defensively down the stretch. We did not do those things at Cal Baptist, and that's where we've got to continue to grow. We've got to get better and know that and be able to do that every single game.
Talk about the team having a lot of guys on. I think Enoch particularly has one of his best games so far this season, especially. Can you just talk about how this team? There's not really one specific guy that you can focus on. It can be anybody on any given night. So you just talk about how well-rounded this team is every minute.
Yeah, and I mean, I've said it before, guys. I think when we play for one another and we play for Western Kentucky, we're pretty good. And when we play for Steve Lutz or we play for, Hank Plona, man, we're not nearly as good. When Tyrone Marshall has joy when he sees Christian Lander hitting a game winner, man, it's fantastic. And Rodney Howard and Don McHenry, you know what I mean? That's great. But when we kind of put our personal goals ahead of our team goals, that's where we get ourselves in trouble. And we're no different than any other team. I mean, other people have the same problem. But, that's something that inherently we have to continue to fight moving forward.
Not to end non-conference play here. Your first few months here as a head coach of Western Kentucky, what's your overall evaluation of, the first half of the season so far? We're getting to the back half.
Well, I mean, it's our best start in how many years? So I can't complain too much, right? I'm happy. Do I want to be undefeated like every other coach? Yeah, absolutely. And they're going to be pissed at me when we practice tomorrow or Monday, right? Today's Saturday? Yeah, or Monday, because I'm going to be on them about playing better. I believe that we can play better. I believe that our ceiling is up here and we're still down here. Now, some people say that might be a little bit of a tyrant, but that just means that I really believe in these guys, and I really believe that they've got a chance to be good and be special. But January 6th against Liberty will be a really, really good test.